Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Kusog akong tingog. Check lang na ako.
Yes, ma'am. Madungog.
Sige, okay. Let me check first the attendance. When I call your name, can I say present? But in the time that I cannot hear your voice saying present, I'll mark in my attendance as absent. Okay, let's start with Angelica Asilom.
Present po, ma'am.
Bacalso, Kathleen. Bacus, Judeline.
Present, ma'am.
Baratas, Jamaica.
Present, ma'am.
Aljo, Bulikatin. Bulikatin, Queenie Joy. Wala. Tommy, Kalibo. Wala. Rachel, Catayas.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Charlene, Cravajales.
Present, ma'am.
De la Gente, Ana May. Wala. Crisa May, Dinila.
Present, ma'am.
Restel, Dudang. Wala. Espinosa, Meljun. Wala. Standarte, Franz. Wala. Mayben, Fernando. Wala. Garces, Hanalin. Wala. Julia, Gatchalian. Wala. Frel, Maika Gulayan. Wala. Kaibigan, Corinne.
Hinay daw yung signal, ma'am.
Nino, si
Kaibigan, ma'am.
kaibigan. Pero na siya, is she around?
Nagkanang gasulog preparing para iya, ma'am.
Sige lang, admit lang na, ano na ako siya, attendance na ako siya if naana siya. Thank you. Loha, Vicky. Wala. Lopena, Nilo.
Present po, ma'am.
Glendo, Lapugan. Wala. Kathleen, Mahinay.
Present po, ma'am.
Mas, Chris Lee.
Maminay daw connection sa ilam.
Kinsa dear.
Si Chrisley Ann Mas, ma'am. Nag-ulan, magudo sila, ma'am.
Okay, sige. Melendres, Aisha.
Present po, ma'am.
Cherry Ann, Alam.
Present, ma'am.
Palomar, Jessa.
Present, ma'am.
Ano na si Mas. Okay, attendance na ako si Mas. Jessa Palomar. Irish Faith, Pastor.
Present, ma'am.
Jenefa Lynn, Carwella.
Ma'am, present.
Okay. Cecil Gray, Ribante.
Present, ma'am. Ribante.
Marilyn Rondina. Ayun, si kaibigan. Si kaibigan yan. Okay. Rondina, wala. Rufin, Gerald. Wala. Sabio, Brian. Wala. Sanchez, John Ricks. Sige, dear. Attendance si Kai. I can see you. Amping dong. Nagmotor ba ka dong? Amping tawon. Sige, present. Arcely, Siodina.
Present, ma'am.
Sino ito? Siodina, Arcely, present, no? Junrick, Sofro.
Present po, ma'am.
Sobangan, Sofian. Wala. Sugabo, Charlinda.
Present, ma'am.
EG, Chonimori.
Present po.
Okay, sige. Sino yung ano dito? Aljo, Bulikatin. Ano ba? Aljo, Bulikatin. Aljo. Yan, okay. Sige na si Aljo. Di lang magtingog si Aljo. Sige, si Queenie may wala na. Okay, sige. Yes. Okay, sige. Allow me to share in the screen our topics. But before that, I would like to assume that everyone had already accessed the, what do you call this? The lesson, since I have uploaded it in the first day of our class. That was March 16. No, so I really hope that you did read the lesson, not only read, but also understand everything about our lesson. Okay, so since this is the first day of our discussion, so allow me to explain what the subject is about. So again, this subject is training and development, bar 221, on the subject title. Then the description is training and development. So this is your major under the human resource management. So we have different facets under human resource management, but this one would also call for a great impact, especially in our field, since we are HR, the heart of every organization. We foremost claim that we are the takers of our employees inside the organization. Now we call them, or we take care from the womb to tomb, as we say, since from the start of their what do you call this? From the start of their work inside the organization, we already take care of them until the last time or the retirement age that they have, if they will choose or they will gonna choose to stay inside the organization. So the purpose of having training and development is from the word train and develop our employees, so that as they go along, as they work with us, they can become efficient and also they can really effectively do their job. Okay, so let me share it in the screen. Can you see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sige. So this is our topic for the week 1, no? Discuss various aspects of training. So with here, hindi ko lang isa-isahin, but I'm sure and I would like to assume that you already read the terminologies, the competitiveness and so on. Kasi these are, if you have read this one, this is already the content of the chapter 1, mga terminologies. Okay, so yan. So let's start with the introduction. So it is said that the goal of training is for employees to master the knowledge, skill, and behavior emphasized in training programs and to apply them to their day-to-day activities. So as what I have said, this is one of the facets of HR. And since we are under the program or under the field of HR, we really need to understand that we, under this program, should be the one that gives direction to our employees, like this topic, the training and development. Saglit lang, klasa, wait lang. Ayan, okay. So sorry for the interruption. So again, as HR, we really need to know the importance of having training and development, because again, as employees, as we take care of our employees, we aim, or we hope them to really become effective and efficient in their work inside the organization. That's why no? They need to master the knowledge, the skills, the behaviors, no, that we will be giving to them, no, or in the specific task. So how are we going to do it? So we need to give training programs, no, training activities that will enhance their knowledge, their abilities, their skills, and their behavior, so they can use it in their day-to-day activities. So with that, no, having or giving training to our employees that can give a competitive advantage to us, no? Just imagine that I am talking to you as the future HR, no, and inside the organization, whether you are having position or you're still in the level of rank and file, or yung mga kakastart pa lang ng mga employees. So balikan natin yung definition ng competitiveness, 'di ba? When we talk of competitiveness, this is the ability to maintain and gain market share in the industry. Ibig sabihin, the company will be able to get a lot of population, or parang let's say share ng tao, no, throughout the industry. Say kung may competition ka, Jollibee and McDo, most of the people, I'm just generally saying this one, but excuse to those who are McDo lovers, but we are Pinoy, and it is said that Jollibee is owned by Tonitan Kakchong, which is also half Filipino. So that's why we are close to Jollibee products. We love sweet products and so on. That's why mostly we prefer Jollibee, even though we also prefer McDonald's, but to some extent of biases, or some extent of bias, na a little bit bias, mas malaki ang market share ni Jollibee dito kasi nga sariling panglasa natin siya. So it's like saying that one ba. You have Jollibee has competitive advantage kasi mas malaki yung market share niya over the McDonald's. So it same goes with having the training. No, nagkakaroon ng competitive advantage ang isang company pag tine-train na yung empleyado na, syempre, who are the workers of the organization, of the company, diba? We, or mga empleyado, or yung kayo, mga future employees soon. So it's the training that has to involve more than just basic skill development. So kasi nga, after you graduate, or while you are having this stage, no, I think you are third year already. Third year na ba? Tama ba? Second year? Third year?
Second
Second year.
ma'am.
Sorry. Second year. Kasi sa new curriculum pala ito. Na third year kasi ito na offering dati. So you see, since na bago yung curriculum, nababa din lahat ng mga majors nyo. Ngayon nasa second year pala. At an early stage, you already know the major functions of an HR. Again, one is the training and development. And when you talk of training, no, hindi lang siya focusing on the basic skill kasi it is advancing of a skill, of an ability, of a specific behavior towards our employees. And to use the training, we use the training to gain a competitive advantage. No, a company should view training broadly as a way to create intellectual capital. No, gone are the days that the company will say, "Di ta mag-training sa to mga empleyado kay gastura na." No, now companies are really giving big budgets, no, allocating bigger amounts to supplement professional development of the employees. Now, I, for one, is a living example, and I am really thankful to the University of Mindanao that for the past years, even up to now, they are really so generous enough to give me permission, to grant me permission whenever I ask them, no, to attend seminars, no, even with pay. No, I even got the chance to go to Manila, no, for a 10-day intensive training, all expense paid by the University of Mindanao. No, and I am really happy and I'm really satisfied of having this institution, the work that I have right now, kasi nga they never what do you call that, kanang di sila nagatipid, especially when it comes to professional development. And soon kayo, pag work na din kayo sa organization, you will really feel lucky to have such an organization where they gonna support you. Because again, having training to employees can also gain really competitive advantage. Pag daghag alam si empleyado, syempre, mas confident siya sa iyang trabaho, and at the same time is effective, mas efficient sa iyang pagpanarbaho. I cannot really say that I am that knowledgeable, but with the trainings, with the seminars that the university had let me attend, no, I can really say that I can become a competent worker, or let's say a knowledge worker. No, I was built more, no, than having those basic things, no, especially in the field of HR. So yon. We also know that human, I mean, having or being considered as an asset of organization, that entails having human capital. Diba? Pag sinabi human capital, I think if you were under with me with bar 211, no, we can have an acronym of C. No, kailangan natin ang human capital. Say S and stands for the sino yung nakaalala ng C? SEE. Meron pa ba? Meron pa kaya? Wala na ata eh. So again, pag sinabi nating asset tayo ng organization, we need to have 3 letters or acronym na C na word. S stands for the, anong tawag na to? Skills. And then another E for experience and another E for education. So kailangan tayo may human capital para maingon nato sa kaugalingon that I am, no, an asset to the organization. And included in the human capital is intellectual capital. So when you talk of intellectual capital, this includes basic skills, advanced skills, and also an understanding of the customer or manufacturing system and self-motivated creativity. Or say, when you talk of basic skills, this means the skills needed to perform a job. Pinaka-basic. Kabalo ka mo panday. Okay, that's pinaka-basic nga skill nga makuha nimo if panday ka. No, or if karpentero ka, that's the basic skill. Maingon po ka nga nakay intellectual skill if nakay advanced skills. Pag sinabi natin advanced skills, ibig sabihin, you know how to use technology to share the information with other employees. Like sa ato ako rin pinaka-basic since nagagamit ang Zoom, kabalo ta mag-share screen. Like what I am doing, kabalo ta mag-on ng computer, kabalo ta saan pag-enable sa audio, and so on. So sa panahon karon, di gyud pwede wala tayo advanced skills. And lastly, when you talk of intellectual capital, it is understanding of the customer or manufacturing system and self-motivated creativity. You understand how the thing works. Dili kay, yes, customer is always right, but dili pwede sila pwede manganad. Mutubag yun ka, awayon gid mo sila, lalison gid mo sila, no. Having intellectual capacity, meaning knowing where you stand. No, and that's a total package, and that's under human capital. Kasi when you have enough experience, when you have enough education, when you have enough skills, experience, and education, you will be able to understand the happenings, no. Paghilaw ka pa kasi yun, mga hot pa tayo. I also had that time na medyo sige akong complain, sige akong yaw-yaw, but then as I got matured, no, I began to understand the processes of businesses, of organization, of the work that I am having. And I hope you also soon. Then also keep in mind that traditionally, most of the emphasis on training has been at the basic and advanced levels. But some experts estimate that soon up to 85% of jobs in the United States and Europe will require extensive use of knowledge. So employees will be required not only to understand the service or the product development system, but also share the knowledge and to creatively use it to modify product or service and to serve the customers. So, ibig sabihin, no, kung sabton pa nato, dili lang daw enough nga nakay basic skills, dili lang enough nga kabalo ka unsaon pagbuhat, dili lang enough nga kabalo ka mo operate naka advanced skills, but dapat naapod kay knowledge how to share with it. No, kay na may like example god na yung mga bright nga tao nga mingon ka sila magstorya pa lang sila very witty na, mag-share sila bang information, makaingon jud nga how kaayo, magstorya pa lang sila pero they cannot be able to let others understand their point. No? So dapat when you talk of intellectual capacity, parang you have the skill, no, you know what you are doing, at the same time you can actually share it and others can actually do it when you share it to them. So that's having intellectual capital. So many companies have adopted this broad perspective, which is known as having leverage training. High leverage training practices also create working conditions that encourage continuous learning. So balik na punta sa unsa di pasabot sa high leverage, no? So when we talk of high leverage training, it is linked to strategic business goals and objectives, uses an instructional design processes to ensure that training is effective, and compares or benchmark the company training programs against training programs or in other companies. Or meaning, high leverage meaning you are one step ahead, no, or not just one step ahead. You have the edge over the others, no. Nakay lamang ba sa uban. Say moto ang uban naga benchmark sila, naga model sila og one company na ay mga best practices, and then apply nila sa ilang company or naga-compare sila sa other companies pod para mas mapabetter pa ilang practices. So that's having high leverage. And again, sabi nga dito, no, nag-adapt ang mga daghan nga company, no, sa a broader perspective, mas advanced, mas lalo, mas expounded pa na mga ideas, mga perspective. And again, this will help to create working conditions that encourage continuous learning. And when you talk of continuous learning, no, so this requires employees to understand the entire work system, including relationship among their jobs, their work units, and company. Or meaning to say, di ba, dili man ka kanang maraog, when you talk of continuous learning, ibig sabihin, from one area, you will be able to connect it with the others. No, from filing, unsa day ang use ani nga specific file, specific document, you will be able to distinguish, you will be able to explain, you'll be able to understand because you have that continuous learning. And when you have that, mga employees will be able to understand the whole system. Dili lang kay cone lang siya diri nga specific field. Dapat broad ang imuhang knowledge, imong kahibalo. Question so far? Questions?
Wala, ma'am.
Wala. Okay, if there are none, then let me continue. Kaagi, taas-taasan ako to kasi mong gutong pinaka-foundation nga nung na-i training gyud siya. No. So again, training will entail us to have the mastery of knowledge, skills, and behaviors. And also, it helps the company to gain a competitive advantage. And with that, we can use high leverage training. At the same time, we need to have human capital, the C, the skills, experience, and the education. So we know already the basic, no? Kabalo na ta nganong naay training. Unsa ang training? Unsay gamit ni training? Karon hinahinaya nato ang proseso unsaon pagbuhat para maging effective ang atong ginabuhat na training sa empleyado. No, we need to make sure that all the things, all the activities that we let our employees go with or attend with should really give them value. Naa siya pulos, no? Kanang magamit yun siya sa empleyado. Dili kay for the purpose lang ikaw as HR, okay, na ako'y ma-report, nga na ako'y gibuhat. No, it should really give value to the employees. And in effect, syempre, in giving value to the employee, they will gonna apply it, the things that they have learned in the training. And of course, it will have a bigger impact in the success of the whole organization. So in figure 1.1, this is the training design process. Now we have 7 basic training design process, or tinatawag natin itong training process na ginagawa natin. Una, bago tayo talaga mag-conduct og training, no, magbuhat sa taog assessment. Nagtatawag na conducting needs assessment. In here, you are going to assess no if kailangan ba ang training sa karon nga panahona or dili. Kay dili man ta pwede again. O sige, go attend mo og webinar karong panahona. Kay nangaluya na mo. Unya wala ka kabalo kay kugi de kay imong mga empleyado, di man de kaila needed. No? So kailangan sa ka mag-conduct og assessment sa ilaha unsa day ang kailangan jud. Under that, we have organization analysis, person analysis, and task analysis. So under organizational analysis, now from the word organization, this means that you are going to assess if the organization has the capacity, has the capability to conduct the training. No? Ready ba ang organization na say maghatag og training sa empleyado basi kulang ka og mga resources, basi kulang ka og mga say what you call this? Kulang ka og mga gamit nung kailangan. So dili ka magpataka og training, dapat hibal-on sa nimo unsa di ang kakayanan nimo sa karon sa imuhang company. Okay, so example, let me specify an example. Okay, so say UM has the mission, no, or the vision. Now, part of the strategy of the UM is under its vision that by 2022, a globally recognized institution providing quality, affordable, and open education. So under organization and analysis, i-assess niya kung katunga vision unsa ang ipabuhat na ko sa akong empleyado para ma-meet to nila, since that is their strategy, di ba, to become globally renowned, to be known not only in the Philippines but in the whole world, to having open education, by 2022 a global recognized institution having open education, quality, and affordable education. So syempre, when you cannot give quality or you cannot give what you don't have, so you need to give it to employees so that they can have it. One is, yun na nga, mga trainings, especially in the discussion no, sa amin, sige, ayon. So again, going back to my discussion, since medyo saba-saba na diri. But going back to my discussion, so yun na nga, dapat maalam siya sa strategy. So the university should give it to their employees, no, the thing that they need to have para maging quality sila. No, so example sa amin or sa atin, no, we are considered as non-board course. Wala tayong hindi tayo nagtitake ng board courses. So to supplement that, and since we are not an education graduate, the university is so generous to let us enroll in this program. We call it Professional Education Program or the PEP. Na doon tinuturuan kami ng mga strategies, how to do our class discussions, and also we are also given theories and explanations, actual scenarios as well, where we can somehow expound the things that are already in us, no, mas ma-develop pa naman, mas ma-enhance pa namin kasi nga we are not being used to become educators, no, kasi tayo as business, especially under human resource management, we were only taught with theories, hindi tayo tinuruan yung strategies paano magturo. But since the organization or the institution, especially University of Mindanao, have shared this program to us, no, where we were professionally equipped, no, to somehow maging man lang knowledgeable on how to really deal with being or becoming an educator. So yon, that's one organizational analysis. Marag imuhang gi-assess, gi-analyze ang whole part ng organization, especially linking with the strategy. Kung appropriate ba, tama ba ni imong gihatag nga training. So check, no, naghatag sila PEP sa amoa. So that's professional growth sa amin. Kasi nga align sa ilahang vision na by 2022 nag-offer na og quality whole world, no, or globally. Okay, so that's one example. Another analysis is the what do you call this? The person analysis. Okay, the person analysis. So when you talk of person analysis, this determines the employee's readiness for training. So gina-tanaw nimo if ready na ba? If ready na ba ang tao, ang imong empleyado for the training. No, so na kay mga kaning assessments are na mga methods na ginagamit. Pwedeng questionnaire, no? Pwedeng personal observation, pwede pong interview, pwede pong focus group discussion or focus group. Parag isa siya ka grupo na mga naa dito ang mga knowledge experts no nga maka-share, makahatag sa ilang sariling opinion. Or when you talk of interview, that's just like one-on-one, interviewon nimo siya o unsa nga training imong kailangan or na ba kay mga questionnaire nga kailangan niyang fill upan and later on imong i-analyze unsa jud ang iyang kailangan na training. So, pwede to nimo gamiton na mga methods or simply observation. Gi-observe nimo siya, makita nimo nga mura og maglisod siya ani nga mga trabaho unon. So, i-check nimo no kung ready na ba ni siya ani nga training and so on. So again, this analyzes if the person is already ready for the training. And last is the task analysis. So when you talk of task analysis, this means that we need to identify the important knowledge, skill, and behaviors that need to be emphasized in training. Or from the word itself, that the task, unsa ang content, unsa ang unod sa imong training. Unsa ang specific knowledge, specific skill, or specific behavior nga imong itudlo, nga imong i-training sa imong mga empleyado. So these three assessments should go in one. No, kailangan ka mag-assess, dili ka magpataka lang nga sige mag-training ta karon dayon go, dili pwede. No? Assess nimo organizationally, assess nimo ang person if they are already ready. And you need to assess the task, unsa di ang knowledge, unsa ang skills, unsa ang behavior nga kailangan na i-training sa ilaha. And that is first step pa lang yan ng pagkakandak ng training. No, there is needs analysis assessment or sometimes please take note, this is also called as training needs assessment or TNA. Again, training needs assessment or TNA. Second is ensuring employees' readiness for training. So yon, under siya ng person, di ba? Analysis. But dito, in-expound lang dito na under ensuring employees' readiness for training, you need to know their attitude, their motivation to do it, or their basic skills. Kasi after all, no, kung pakandakon nimo sila, anyan, dili ka sure kung ready na bigyan sila mag-training, na dili sila kay nga naka-motivated, what will happen? Igo lang sila mo attend, yung isa sila mamina, or baka di sila mamina, mag-text lang, mag-exit sa training. And then afterwards, pagbalik sa company, wala nagyapog wala. Walay transfer of training na nahitabo, wala sila nakuha sa training katungod dili sila ganado, di sila motivated. Wala nimo natumbok no unsa di ang basic skill nga kailangan nila, unsa di ang attitude nga naa sila. So you really need to ensure first prior to conducting the training. Then third, you need to create learning environment. So when you talk of learning environment, you need to go through with these items first. Unsa di imong objective? Unsa di imong learning objective? Unsa di imong gusto nga tumong ana nga training? So i-craft na nimo. Then unsa imong mga materials nga gamitin? It should be meaningful. Di na siya materials nga basta na lang siya magamit. But it should be meaningful. Ibig sabihin gamit siya, no, sa mga participants, sa mga attendees. Then another is they have an avenue to practice it. they can be able to have a feedback. They have community learning, they have modeling, and they have program administration. And then after that process is they need to ensure transfer of training. So that's what I have said. No? After kailangan niyo ma-ensure nga naa sila nakuha, no? Meaning ng transfer of training, naa sila nakuha sa training. No? So with that, paano mo ma-ensure nga naa sila transfer of training? Syempre there should be a management, self-management, and also naapoy support dapat sa colleague niya and also ang manager niya. No? Kay lisod kaayo. Syempre what if naa siya nakuha dito nga training? Kunya pag abot sa organization kay dili dili suportahan sa peer, dili suportahan sa manager ang iyang mga nakuha ideas, dili suportahan ang iyang bag-o nga nahibal-an ato nga training. So unsaon niya pag-practice, unsaon niya pag-transfer ang training nga nakuha niya sa iyang gitrabahuan kung walay support. No? Another is develop an evaluation plan. So after na ma-ensure ni mo ang transfer training, syempre ingat, God bless. Ma-check pud nimo na or ma-evaluate nimo, ma-check nimo kung naa ba sila valuable ba gyud ilang nakuha sa training. So paano yon? First, you need to identify their learning outcomes. Kung naay learning objectives, mo pa ni imong tumong ani nga training. Now, you get na the outcome. How would you know? Say patistingon nimo sila, ipa-apply nila sa imong organization kung unsa to ilang naagian sa training, di ba? Kasi you are already evaluating kung naba sila nasabtan, naba sila nakuha. Then you need to choose evaluation design. And also, you need to have plan cost benefit analysis. Kasi when you talk of training management or managing a training, that's also having business management. No, let's not really go away with the idea of having business. Kasi everything that aims for maximizing or gaining profit is really working on business. And syempre, pag nagpadala ta og empleyado sa isa ka training, dili pwede nga kay gibayaran ti ka all expense paid. Pagbalik nimo diri, okay, trabaho ra po kagbalik, wala kay nakuha, wala kay pulos. No? I don't know if one of the reasons why I got the position was because of the trainings I have attended, but I am thankful that in 2018 I had attended the PMAP Teach. No, that was a 10-day training intensive, and then intensive training in Manila. No, where I got the chance to really have an actual linkage of the industry practice compared to the theory that I am only having in my mind. No, kay murag nas na open up akong idea unsa gyud ang mga actual practices, especially in the facets of the HR, compensation and development, or total rewards na tawag karon, learning and development, or training and development. Actually, ang new term for training and development, kindly take note, is the learning and development. Then recruitment and selection, new term is talent acquisition. So dito na ako nahibalaan. And I would assume no kung sa cost benefit analysis kay gibayaran ko ni UM kondo na ako, pagkaon, plane ticket, plus bayad sa seminar, as in lahat-lahat, no, tanan si UM ang nagbayad sa ako. Maybe if I would say self-evaluation sa cost-benefit analysis, siguro di mo po jud lugi si UM nga ipadala ko nila ato because I really made use of those knowledge I got. Nag-i-apply pod na ako siya sa akong mga klase no na naagian or akong ginahandilan. It's just difficult, especially in this time na katong mga workshops nga akong mga nakuha, dili na ako siya kayo ma-apply karon because we are having this, online class or virtual class. But with the knowledge na is concerned, I'm really thankful that I can be able to share it with you. Iba talaga kasi yung may experience ka compared doon sa book lang na binabasa mo. Okay, or in short, pag sinabing cost benefit analysis, na ay nakuha ba nga outcome, nga input si organization sa imuha gikan ka og training. Then 6, selecting training method. So after nimo ma-evaluate, siyempre mag-select na kaon sa ang training method na imong gamiton. It's either ba the traditional one, no, or the e-learning. Traditional katong mga lecture approach, no, sa papanalo sa daghan kay mga traditional karon mga webinar, mga e-learning, man na mga virtual reality. Sige lang, expound nato na natay specific topic only for training method ng mga examples. And then last part is after you select unsa nga method im gamiton, you will have monitoring and evaluating the program. So mag-evaluate na ka, mag-check na ka kumusta di ang gikandak nimong activity or training. So conduct evaluation, and then pag human sa evaluation, i-check nimo tong mga items, asa baba nga topic, asa baba nga area, and then i-analyze nimo to siya. Then afterwards, you make changes to improve the program. No, out from those comments, out from those feedback you got or you will going to get sa evaluation. Okay. So also figure 1.1 or these things that I have just shared or explained is based on principles of ISD. So when you talk of ISD, this refers to a process for designing and developing training programs. So there is not one universally accepted ISD model. So the training design process sometimes is referred to as ADI model. So because it includes analysis, na mag-analyze ka, mag-design ka, mag-develop ka, mag-implement ka, and also mag-evaluate. So inana dapat ang instructional system nga imong buhaton sa imong training. Dili kay naalagi kay naa ka implementation pero wala ni magi-analyze unsa ang pros and cons sa imong pagabuhaton nga training. Naa kay implementation pero wala pug ka nag-design, wa ka kabalo sa buhaton sa learning objective nimo, sa mga materyales na imong gamiton, no? Walay development, and then also ang uban pod igo lang nagkanak og training. Wala man nila gikumusta kung naabay transfer of training, naabay input nga na hatag si empleyado gikan niya nag-training. So you really need to evaluate para yun nga makita nimo, no, ma-analyze nimo ang cost benefit. Nang ako bang gigasto sa iya ha? Ano ba to? Kanang naba to'y pulos, no? Naba ko'y nag-gain back. No, kasi of course, we need to think business. Na ako gi-invest sa imo ha, syempre dapat napog ko'y nakuha, napoy nabalik sa ako So that's ADE model under creating or designing a training. Okay, so also we have forces that influences, or the last topic are the forces that influences working and learning. So muna ang mga items, no, na maka-influence sa atong pagpanarbaho. Siyempre sa ato apong mga learning nga makuha. First is the economic cycle, no? Siyempre ang dagan sa ang dagan sa ekonomiya labo na karon, no? Sinahitabo pandemya. No, malimit na lang ta. Kung dati like kayo great example, pumupunta kayo sa school, nakikinig kayo, no, wala kayo disadvantage, no, like karon dili maka-attend ang uban kay walay signal or hinay ang signal, gusto maminaw pero dili kayo kumadungog kay yun na nga hina ang signal, walay signal, no. So part of the economic downfall as well are businesses closing kay tungod di na maka-supply sa expense, di na nila maapas ang mga expenses nga ilang ang na-incur, tapos kay ang balik sa ilaha kay gamay, no, so dili mag-equate, so malugi sila, so they are closing and so on. Maka-influence na siya sa working and also sa learning environment natin. Another is of course globalization, no, the interconnection of one country to another, of one business to another, competitions, no, that is included, no. May one joke nga na we are really having globalization today. Because why? Even virus from China reach Philippines. No, so interconnected na jud kaayo nga layo ra kaayo gigikanan na abot jud sa Pilipinas and other parts of the world. Though it is a joke, but it is kanang sakit nga joke nga sa panahong karon we are really being limit no sa mga activities nato. Another force that can influence is the increased value placed on intangible and human capital. So, syempre, high regard na ang, yun na nga, di ba na-mention ako ganina, human capital. Ano nga yung human capital? Let me recall it through Jessa Palomar. Ano sa ganitong tulo ka, things nga itong himalaan sa human capital, Jessa?
That kanang to be the asset of the organization, ma'am. Din naa siya tong the skills tong
Sige, go.
the skills nakalimutan ko sa duha, ma'am.
It's okay. But I'm really happy that you were able to retain it in your memory. Thank you, Jess. Thank you so much. Sige, yon. Sabi ni Jess when you talk of a human capital, that can be associated with those employees who are considered assets of the organization. And you can only be considered as an asset of the organization if you have these three things, at least three things. You have the skills, you have the education, you also have the experience. Yan. So, tatlo. So, dito, in-emphasize na there is an increased value placed on intangible assets and human capital. So, syempre, high regard talaga yung mga education, experience, and of course, the skills that a person would have, mga intangible assets na to. Kay kung wala ka ani, syempre, mapapa ka, mga left behind ka. Maka-apekto na siya sa working and learning nimo because you cannot be able to work effectively. You cannot work efficiently if you have the lack if you lack knowledge. So kanina nga sinabi sa intellectual capital, you need to have basic skills, you have to have advanced skills, no? So paano na lang 'yan kung wala ka na kay basic skills pero wala kay advanced skills, wala kay experience, wala kay education. So ma-left behind gyapon ka. So maka-apekto gyapon jud na siya sa working and learning nato. So kayo, I hope biskang wala mo nag-turn on sa inyong camera na minaw gyud mo, wala mo nagdulag ML karon nga inyo lang silent or nagchika-chika ba sa inyong kauban ron or nagunsa ba mo, bahalag magkaon mo dirag magunsa basta at least naminaw mo. Because no matter how many information I will give you, I am also aware that you cannot really retain it in your mind, but at least you're gonna get the very core of this topic, no? Masabtan lang gyud ninyo ang pinaka-core nga na ay training and development, no? That was also my mga baon nako when I was in college, na when I graduate from the institution, di ko makaingon nga tanan good memorize na ako unsa ang nasa libro and so on. I am not even a cum laude student, but I was able to pass all naman by God's grace the interviews I had sa mga gipang-applyan nako because I know the foundation of HR and I really love the program I have chosen. I really love the field that I have chosen. And I really hope kamo pod, no, dili man niyo makuha tanan ng lesson, ang mga information nga akong ma-feed sa inyo. At least masabtan ninyo ang pinaka-core sa every subject nga inyong ginasudlan. And that's under human capital, no? Then number 4, focus on the link to business strategy. So syempre, really big influence yun sa learning and working because we're talking about business strategy. In each business has different business strategy. Now with that, from that specific strategy comes in the different activities nga mapaadto pod sa mga empleyado, sa mga workforce inside the organization. Then changing demographics and diversity of the workforce, like ngayon, the very trend, I think we already have 5 working generations inside the organization. First generation is the traditionalist, no? or we call it the silent generation, the 1945 people and below sila to mga traditional, even working up today, no? Sa University of Mindanao, we have Sir Pedro, Dr. Pedro San Jose. I think if I'm not mistaken, he's already 90 years old, something like that. And he's still working, alive and kicking by God's grace. You see, 60 years old lang sa private company, but UMS is still acknowledging his inputs, his work, kasi nga ganun siya ka-valuable inside the organization. That's one generation, followed by the baby boomers, and then followed by the generation X, then the generation Y, then the generation X sa amin, millennials, and yung sa inyo, 1997 and up to now, no, basta na yung mga bata pa jud sa inyo ha, you are called nexters. Pero wala pa man mo na part sa organization, so hanggang 5 muna ka generation. Traditionalist, baby boomers, generation X, generation Y, and the generation Z. Generation Z pala, which are the millennials, no? So kani siya naga-change man gyud, there is really diverse work. And when you talk of this diverse work, you will also have to employ diverse strategy, diverse plans, no? Kay di man naton maingon nga ikaw gahi jud kay kag ulo kang bataa ka ba kanang supakero kayo kan so on. We need to understand as HR, we really need to understand where they coming from. Asa di sila nga generation na tawo. Kasi when you talk of traditionalists, no, sila tong mga empleyado nga so loyal with the company, no? That they can actually stay from their first job until their retirement age. Baby boomers were known to become loyal to their careers. Generation X are sometimes called as what they call this, loyal to their positions. Positions sa baby boomers, Generation X to their careers. Generation Y, they are known to have career issues. Generation X are known to talk back to their bosses because they have some ideas and so on. So kani nga mga 5 generations, kita as HR, this is really a big challenge that each generation, we need to have different strategy. Dili pwede nga sa term ana isa ka strategy para sa tanan. Kay consider nimo unsa ilang gidak-an, asa sila nga environment nagdako, nagtubo. No, muna siya ang trend karon nga dili pwede nga sa term ana natay traditional leadership. Now we call it now transformative leadership. No, nga kailangan tayong mag-transform sa ating leadership. Dili pwede nga ako ang boss, ako ang masunod. Now we need to have participative way of management. You hear inputs from these generations, from these people inside your workforce. Kasi after all, 'di ba? According pa to I think it was Chinkitan or kaning owner sa Alibaba, kasi owner sa Alibaba nakalimot ko. Kaning partner kaning Manny Pacquiao. Chinese. Basta something owner sa Alibaba, no, na kanang ana siya nga you hire si Chakma, no, tama, si Chakma, thank you Ma'am Lau, yan si Chakma, sabi niya you hire people because you hire intelligent people because those intelligent people will work for you. So kung kato nga mga intelligent people nga imong gipang hire, di man lang nimo gamiton kasi sigara kag sugo sa ila ha, unsay plus ato, bayad-bayaran pa nimo sila, no. So dapat mangayo kag mga inputs ato, dili kay maging imingon lang ka, oh leader ko akong sunda, no, and so on. So again, there are diverse workforce and we need to have diverse strategy with them. Talent management, no, so we need to we in today's trend, no, tinatawag nating talent acquisition. Ang old term is recruitment and selection. Nagre-recruit tayo, nagse-select tayo, but ngayon we are calling it as talent acquisition because we acquire talents. May mga kanya-kanyang talents ang mga empleyado. Dati siguro we were coined with that term na pag sinabing talent, kabalo ka mo kanta, kabalo ka mo sayaw. No. In today's time, in today's era of HR, we are considering skills, abilities, no, of those people, of different people as talents. Kato nga mga talent magamit nimo sa imong organization. And the biggest challenge with that nga makaapekto sa working and learning is how do you manage this? Unsaon nimo paghon? Bright siya. Pero isog ka nga boss. Sira kag sugo. Siya di siya ganahan ingin ana. Dili wala nimo na properly manage iyang talent. Now that's the call of every leaders of today. Na unsaon nimo pag-motivate ani nga tao nga makasunod siya, makahatag siya sa unsa ang naa sa iya sa imuha. Di ba ka it's only in the art of communication, it's the art of leadership na mapasunod nato or makahatag og gwapo nga input ang atong empleyado. Then we have customer service and quality emphasis. Also new technology and also lastly high performance model of the work system. So katutanan nga are the things that can influence our working and learning. Okay, questions, clarifications from the discussion? Anyone? Hello? Question, clarifications? Madunggan ba akong tingog properly? Like, walay putol-putol? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, EG, for confirming. Sige. If there are none, then let me continue with the last topic. No, medyo i-fast track lang nako siya kanina nadaanan na pud nako ni sa katong gi-discuss nato sa week 1. So in here we are going to talk with the first process of training, no, which is yung needs assessment, or the other term is training needs assessment. So na yung mga terminologies gi-define dira ang needs assessment, organization analysis, and so on. Subject matter experts, ang focus groups nga na-mention po nako. Diba, again, pag mag-conduct ng training needs assessment, nasa different methods. You can have interviews, you can have observations, you can have documentation, you can have questionnaire or survey, and yun na, focus group. No? So, na different approach. And then some terminologies. Okay, so yun. Ayan. So again, this part is really pointing on the main topic of needs assessment, the importance of why we assess training, which I already explained a while ago. So yun na nga sanabi ko, i-fast track lang natin. So ito, figure 3.1, no, causes and outcomes of needs assessment. So ito yung tatlo na titingnan natin, no, i-analyze natin pag nag-a-assess tayo kung kailangan ba talaga ang need. First, organization, what is the context ng training, no? Syempre that includes yun ang assessing of the resources, the capability of the organization, the appropriateness of the training, linking to the business strategy. Another is task analysis. So in what do we need training? So di ba task kasali yung unsa di ang knowledge, unsa ang skills, unsa imong behavior nga gusto ipa-train, unsa nga or makuha sa empleyado. And lastly, who needs training? Personal analysis is also asking to yourself that or are the people already ready for the training? Okay, so these are the reasons, the pressure points. Say, mag-training kay tungod na ay problema sa legislation, na ay problema sa basic skills, for performance, new technology, and so on. So muna ang mga reasons. Then the outcomes, what trainees need to learn, and so on. Muna ang imong mga ipang-reconcile na. Muna mo yung mga ipang-reconcile karon. Okay, sa ano yon? May nagtanong?
Ay, sorry ma'am na.
Okay lang, it's okay. It's okay, Chris. Sige, so yon. So these are the outcomes, and then the pressure points. Now, some lang of the pressure points or reason bakit nagka-conduct ng training. But there are, you can name a lot of the reasons why you conduct training. Ayan. Change of the economy is one. Diba? Pandemic, yun na nga. Natuto tayo bigla, parang from traditional, biglang nag-shift tayo ng LMS, Learning Management System. Struggles before, like, walay mga emails, pero biglang nagkaroon ng emails lahat kasi kailangan requirement for the creeper. Hindi alam kung paano maggamit ng computer, but automatically, just a snap of the hand, nagkaroon tayo bigla ng motivation, ng eagerness to learn kasi LMS natin, we are using Quiper, doon tayo sumasagot, di ba? Ang iba, ma'am, was not able to finish the exam kasi may time pressure, may oras pala. But then again, in the later part, we were able to adapt with it, no, and so on, and other issues. So pwedeng reason yon, no, na mga may economic changes, mga pandemic problems, and so on. So who should participate in the training? This is a question for person analysis. Yan. So concerns on the upper of middle managers, training in needs. So sa upper manager, ito yung concern. And then sa middle, and then sa trainers. So yan, you can just read it over. Then we have methods. Ayan, ito yung nasabi ko kanina, na-share ko. We have different methods or techniques we can use if we're gonna conduct the training needs assessment. So pwedeng mag-observation, no? So maka-generate siya ng data relevant to the work. Hindi ka din maka-interrupt sa kanilang work kasi you're just, say, literally stand there or check their work, no? So with that, hindi ka na pupunta sa isang specific empleyado, magtatanong, mag-check, and so on. So less ang interruption ng work. But the disadvantage is, of course, need skilled observer. So dapat keen observer good ang magtanaw nga, mag-check pa lang siya, dili siya bias kay tungod okay, murag feeling na ako kay luyas siya. Dili ni siya performer, no? Kailangan skilled observer siya kanang tested by time, kanang kung pagtanaw pa lang niya, ma-assess na gid niya if this specific employee is really working the job well, or she or he can identify specific points that specific employee should really deal more or should really make an advancement, no? Then pwede ka ding mag-use ng questionnaires, yun na yan, surveys, sabi ko kanina. Then you can also have interview, pwede mong tanungin, empleyado, meron ito yung magiging advantage niya, ito din yung magiging disadvantage. Then lastly, we have the focus groups. I mean second to the last, focus groups. So ito yung napaloob na din dito yung mga SME, subject matter experts, na parang identified group mo siya na sila yung expert inside the organization na pwede mong matanungan, no? And then advantages niya, disadvantages. Then we have documentation, so which I also have mentioned, no? So pwedeng, documentation, ibig sabihin you will be looking with the documents, no? Specifically sa atin HR, please always bear it in your mind. Dili yun pwede na mawala sa atong jargon, the 201 file, no? Kato mga file nga or mga documents nga files ang ginabutangan sa documents empleyado, no? Sa iyang job description, kung na siya mga memorandum, mga trainings attended, and all the things that has a relationship with the work of the employee. So documents to niya. This is the advantage, and this is also the disadvantage, or these are the disadvantages. You can have technical manual records under documentation, no? So kato na nga sa 201 file niya. Online technology, yan. And also, you can have the software. Advantages and disadvantages. Okay. Then the needs assessment process. So we have here the organization analysis, the person analysis, under mga things to consider under the person analysis, under the organization analysis, then under the task analysis. This is actually the process in conducting the assessment. Okay. So kung mapansin nyo dito, these were already part of figure 1.1, which I already discussed in the previous lesson. And that's it. That ends the lesson for week 1 to week 3. Okay. So I hope you have an understanding with the things I have explained. No. Before I let you go, but I am not singing, I want to ask, sino bang itanungin ko? Si ano na lang. Si Junrick Solitario. Hello, dear. Kindly turn on your microphone. Hello? Dear? Are you still here? Are you still here? Si ano na lang, si Chris Lee.
Dili, ang babae.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, dili lagi ta ka madunggan.
Ayan, Chris, ayan. Okay, sige Chris, kindly share your learning for our discussion this evening.